Hello, welcome to Kilted Swede. V and W is the topic of this video. Two letters which a lot of Swedes find it difficult to differentiate between in English or something. We're going to start with Darth Vader. Why, I hear you ask? Because a lot of Swedes refer to Darth Vader as Darth Wader. Now for me that conjures up an image of the Sith Lord wearing waders. Vaderbyxor. In a river, fishing, fly fishing if you like. Oh, the force is strong with this one. Doesn't really work. Sorry. You see, that's a prime example of why that V sound is important. I think the name Darth Vader is supposed to sort of incite terror and sound kind of intimidating and scary. Darth Wader just doesn't. And that, I still remember the first time I heard Darth Wader and I thought, what did you say? I think I questioned it as well and the person just didn't really understand what I was saying, because to them it had always been Darth Wader. West and vest, there's another one. So, if we take north, east, south, I'm going to use my left hand, west, the direction west, that's a W, okay? West. But in Swedish it's väst, because the word obviously comes from that, you know. So you could argue that it should be väst, because it was väst first, probably. But in Swedish it's spelled with a V, väst. And in English it's spelled with a W, west. Okay, almost the same word. An item of clothing that you have on your upper body that is sleeveless, without arms. You have arms, hopefully. And the item of clothing does not, so it's sleeveless. And it's a vest. And in Swedish it's also väst, but it's spelled V-A-S-T. Now in clothing stores I have seen vests, and I have seen the labels on said vests. And often, it all usually says vest somewhere around. And more often than not it's in English. They have quite often a W on it. West. Not vest, but west. But you don't always have to go west when you wear a vest. You can go east, you can go south, you can go north, or anything in between. So, it is a vest. You can go west in your vest if you like, but you don't have to. Shall I move on? Yeah. I have a list here. I've written them down in case I forget them, because I will otherwise. 10 words with a V, 10 words with a W. So let's start with V. View. Utsikt. Victory. Seger. I forgot to write it down the Swedish translation, so I'll just have to do this as I go along. Bear with me. Where was I? Yeah, view, utsikt, victory, seger. Victor as in the name. Same. Van, skåpbil. Version, that's the same. Version. Verse, I think that's also the same. Volcano, vulkan, almost the same. Variety, varietet. Very, variera. And very, väldigt. Very and very are very similar. Very similar. But, you know, they're different meanings entirely. So there's some examples of V. Now let's move on to W. What, vad. Why, varför. Where, var. When, när. Wednesday, onsdag. Wonder, under. Was, var. Again, yes. Win, vinna. Window, fönster. Interestingly enough, I'm just going to stop there. Window is from fornnordiska, Old Norse. And if I remember correctly, the meaning is wind eye. Vindöga, I think. Window. So it's seeing through something and the wind's out there, I guess. It's a wind eye window. So that's where that comes from. But it's a W in English, so it's a W sound. Even if it comes from vind, which is... That's also wind, is vind. You know, wind in English is a W, vind in Swedish is a V. And the last one there was wine, which is vin. Another difference. So let's go through those ones that are a W in English and a V in Swedish then. What is vad? Why is varför. Where and was, two words with a W in in English that are different, which are one and the same in Swedish. So where and was are var. When is vina, and wine is vin. Water is vatten. That was another one on the first list. And just by looking at that, when I prepared this, I started to really see why it's so confusing, because I even tried to look for patterns, reasons when it's, I don't know, an H after the W is obviously a wh sound, more of a, not just a soft W, and then vowels afterwards, but I couldn't see any reason why it shouldn't be a V in English, except just the pronunciation. And I think that's all it boils down to. It's just the way the word sounds. And I mean, maybe all these spellings in English were initially a W in Old Norse or Fornordiska. And they have just, because I mean, W is not really, it doesn't really exist in modern Swedish. I mean, I can't think of a single modern word with a W in it. They're all old. It's place names, people's names, things like that have a W in them in Swedish. They're pronounced the same, so there's not really any point of having W's, a meaningless letter in Swedish. But as long as you remember the golden rule, you'll be fine. W is always a W sound, and V is always a V sound in English. I hope that helps. You're welcome if it does, and if it doesn't, have fun fishing with Darth Wader. Bye!